Hi.
Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Really good, really good. Such a pleasure to talk to you about. I think one of the things people love about movies like this, like kind of like Moneyball, kind of like The Social Network, is that you might know how it ends, but along the way you learn some tremendous little tidbits, these details, and there were so many of them in this movie. When I was watching, it was like I had no idea that that's where that came from. When you were reading the script or when you watched the finished movie, were there any points of information like that where you were both like, oh wow, I have absolutely no idea that that's where that came from?
Yeah, I mean, the biggie is the end, where, she says kind of at the last minute, my son's going to need a piece of every shoe going forward. And if we can't do that, we don't have a deal. That, and then you see in the postscript, he makes $400 million every single year because of that little, oh, by the way. So that's just incredibly impressive, and I'm assuming every athlete since then has been able to draft off of that precedent. That's a big deal, and it wasn't just some sort of money grab. It came from a genuine place that really only a mother could devise, which is, we need to respect my son's value. You need to, people deserve to be compensated for their value and believe in themselves and ask for that commensurate compensation. I'll explain that later.
Yeah.
That's something that resonates with anybody, anywhere, in any industry, at any time. And so that is a bit of an evergreen that this film has, even though it's about a story about Michael Jordan and Nike. It really is a nice human message.
I didn't realize that I would never think of Nike as an underdog. I don't know a lot about sports or a lot about anything.
No, I know.
But yeah, to get to the place where they were a running company, mostly running shoes, and that this broke through for basketball with them. I as a kid, I just thought Nike was always a big into the basketball business. But
they were third to Adidas and Converse,
Yeah.
and then again in the postscript it says that they bought Converse. It's like it's pretty cool.
That's one of the things that I found so massively interesting, is that it does kind of, I guess audiences might be prepared to go in with a certain mindset of what a huge corporation is, and that it's all quite cutthroat. But I love this story in that so many of the people in it, so many of the characters, were genuinely nice people who were just really good at their jobs, and it paid off. It kind of goes against the tide of again, like The Social Network and stuff, where you expect people to be a certain way in big business. So again, like when you got that script or when you're playing these characters, that for yourselves must be kind of an interesting kind of dichotomy, because you're expecting a character to be one way and it pays off in this kind of fantastic other way.
Yeah, there's a win in the film because people are being human. Certainly, Matt Damon's character Sonny is someone who's, just going with a feeling, going with a gut, wanting people to trust him. He's a bit of a gambler himself, and he says to Phil Knight, this company is as successful as it is today because you've been a maverick thus far. Don't stop. Let's continue with that. And give Jordan all $250,000 instead of splitting it up between three players. And it was just such a risky thing at the time. But if you don't have empathy for how human Sonny is and the whole company structure there, you're not really rooting for them. And so it's important to have that human element all the way through the film.
And your character has that in spades. My favorite scene in the movie is his with Matt, when he's talking about his daughter and what the shoe means to him and his daughter. Like that humanity is very moving, and I think everybody can relate to that.
Absolutely. And Chris, just to commend you on a singular, your swearing scene, that's top tier cinematic swearing. So I just want to applaud you on that, because I laughed a lot. I have to rewatch it because I missed most of it because I was just laughing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the script was fun. It was fun to say those words.
I bet. I bet it was. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Buddy.
I believe in your son. I believe he's the future. And his story is going to make us want to fly. But a shoe is just a shoe.
Until my son steps into it.